nuts, dude. Like, it's insane how different the perspective is with him being on your team versus not. Because I get it. When other fan bases like cringe and they have like legitimate hatred, the worst feelings imaginable about Draymond Green, a part of me understands it, man. But he's on our team. I'll take it all day, every day. You need a Draymond to have a dynasty. So that's just my take on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. And if I'm in the Bay Area when the statue goes up, I'll be there, probably wearing a Curry jersey, but maybe I'll have a picture of Draymond in my phone.
Where are you right now if you're not in the Bay Area? Because you're not in the Pittsburgh, Antioch area? Where
No,
are you at?
no, I live in San Diego. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful
Yeah.
San
So
Diego.
I went to college in Long Beach, and then I moved to San Diego about 4 years.
I called the San Diego area home for 4 years. I lived in Encinitas though, but 2 of those years I was going to San Diego State, getting my master's degree. That's how I started teaching. Where in San Diego are you?
El Cajon, Rancho San Diego. So about 20 minutes east of downtown. Yeah.
It's America's finest city, man. They call it that for a very good reason. Are you going to stay for the rest of your life there?
We'll see. My wife's got a good job, and we're digging it. I'm in sales, so I'm very flexible, so I can kind of come and go. Maybe we'll go to Thailand. That's where she's from, and rent's a lot cheaper out there.
Are you watching White Lotus?
No, it's on our list, dude. We've been going through what's the one on Hulu about the president? I don't know. We've been watching a bunch of different shows. White Lotus is on the list. Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. Sean, nice to meet you, brother. Thanks for coming on. And go Dubs, dude. This was a hell of a game, brother. Have a good Saturday night, too.
Yeah, you too, bro. Appreciate it.
Give a kiss to the beautiful city and region of San Diego for me. Side note, before you go, my farewell present to San Diego. I got to stop saying doggo. It's San Diego. My farewell present to San Diego was I wrote, and I spent like a good few weeks, maybe even a month on this story, but it was a 2-part story. And all you got to do is Google history of professional basketball in San Diego. And I published this, I think, for HuffPost. And I did a whole piece on at least up through the San Diego Clippers. And I know they're back as the G League team. So your region has a illustrious, rich history with professional basketball. It goes back to the San Diego Rockets, who then became the Houston Rockets. A lot of people don't know this, that the Golden State Warriors for one season called San Diego home, along with the Bay Area. In hindsight, it was a ploy because the owner at the time was trying to get the Bay Area to pay for a new arena, and that's how the Warriors ultimately went from the Cow Palace to what became Oracle. For 1 year, they changed their name from the San Francisco Warriors to the Golden State Warriors, and they were going to represent the entire state. And again, in hindsight, it was a ploy. They were doing it because they were trying to convince the Bay Area to pay for the arena. And the Bay Area did not want to lose the Warriors, so they were like, all right, fine, you win. We're going to build you an arena. But for one season, they called San Diego home, and I think they played 4 home games there that year. This was in 1971. So in case you're unfamiliar with that story, folks, yes, the Golden State Warriors have some roots in San Diego.
Wales, yeah. All right, man.
Have a great night, brother. Thank you so much, man. Ryan Leong joins us live from Chase Center. An hour 20 in. What were you doing, brother? Great to see you.
I cleared the cache on my cookies, so I was trying to figure out a way to get back in so I could stream the pod. That's what happened. Technical difficulties.
Well, I don't know if people are familiar with you in terms of what you actually do in the arena after games, but typically your role, your task, and OMG, it's Manny. I'm going to get to you very soon here. You're going to join us in a second. Sit tight. But people are not familiar that after the game, and maybe they are, I don't know, but just to remind them, you go into the visiting locker room and you're interviewing players. You're getting sound. Tonight, I feel like was a particularly interesting evening for you to do that because Karl Anthony Towns and Draymond Green, they had themselves a little rivalry tonight, and they did not shake hands when the game ended. Karl Anthony Towns and Dre did exchange words at one point. Draymond Green was pointing to the bench saying he's soft. We all saw that it didn't take an expert lip reader to come to that conclusion. What was it like in the Knicks locker room when he went in there, Ryan?
Well, I did go in there, and so he was asked that question specifically by Ron Kroichik from the Chronicle, and Karl's response was, "It's not my job to tell you what was said." That's what he said.
And that's it?
That's what he said. Yeah, and so I'll post it later. We'll have my friend, colleague Marco we'll sync up the video audio and I'll put it on YouTube. So I was the only guy in there. So I'm the only guy with that actual camera that got the post game, which is interesting. I'm surprised because this is New York, right? You figured New York would have at least one camera of somebody, but I guess because the game was on ABC, and so MSG wasn't televising it. But I'm just surprised. I mean, there's been so much of a change in the media landscape, Cyrus, of how things are done, that this is the first time I can remember doing any New York post game and not seeing a camera in there besides my own.
Why is that, do you think?
Money.
Interesting. That's crazy. That is crazy, man.
But the other writers. But I'll say this too. I'm glad they didn't tell me to not record, because I know that the other New York teams, if I do the Yankees or the Mets, they don't allow cell phone cameras to shoot their post game. So I'm always going to do something until you tell me I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's easier to. What's the old adage?
It's easier to beg for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
There you go. Exactly. So you got to. The cameras also caught during this game. I think it was Josh Hart and Thibodeau.
Yep.
Had an exchange in this game. Richard Jefferson, one of the color commentators tonight, was trying to downplay it, saying this happens every game, even though we don't see it happen every game.
Yep.
I don't think it's as common as he was trying to spin it.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, that was asked as well. So yeah, it's good to go to the Knicks. So Thibodeau just said, "Hey, he's my guy." It's a heated moment. That was it, right? And so then Josh said the same thing. Josh in the locker room says, "Hey, I'm Tom's guy. I'm very loyal to him, et cetera, et cetera." But yeah, and then the writer said later, as soon as I stopped recording, I heard one of the writers say, "Just do your effing job." Is apparently what Thibodeau says over and over and over again. So, and I didn't see all that. I don't know when that happened in the game, because I got to admit, and I mentioned this to you, I didn't get to this game tonight until halftime, because I was, me, man, I don't just cover basketball. I try to cover everything, right? So I went to the Sharks game today, and I saw Alex Ovechkin score another goal. He is only 8 goals away. 8.
I don't want him to do it, man. I don't like that. What do you think?
He's going to do it. It's going to happen.
I mean, look, it's one thing if it's like a true star of a game, like breaking these records.
He's a true star of the game.
Oh, come on, dude. Are you serious? You think Alex, like for the non-NHL, like
he's not?
casual...
I'll say this much.
Yeah.
He's not. Wayne Gretzky's Wayne Gretzky, right? I mean, he was immortalized in like Wayne's World and all this other stuff, right? But yeah, and you think of guys that are like the next player. I would still say you're probably right that more people will say Sidney Crosby.
Yes,
is the heir apparent to being
or
an
like
Jaromir
Jagr. I would have understood a little more.
Well, Jagr, okay, but again, Jagr's also a peer of Gretzky. Okay, so you can't. I wouldn't compare the two of those guys. You have to compare the next generation, right? So the next generation would be a Sidney Crosby, an Alex Ovechkin, a Connor McDavid, et cetera. So, and people go like, "What the hell are we talking about hockey?" Yeah, people.
No, it's fine. In case people aren't familiar, Wayne Gretzky's all-time score, is it the goal record or the scoring record? Goal record is about to be broken. Yep. And the individual is going to do it. I'm not trying to hate on him, but he's just not a well recognizable individual for the common fan, at least not here in the United States. I could be wrong. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, I would say, because remember, he does play for the Washington Capitals, so I wouldn't go that far. But I will say, because he plays for the Capitals and he doesn't play for the LA Kings, he doesn't play for the New York Rangers, he doesn't play for the Montreal Canadiens, one of those teams. I think because of that, he's a little bit more obscure. Which is, that's hard to say, because he is honestly one of the greatest hockey players ever to play.
I'm not doubting that.
But to your point, I don't disagree with you, because that just goes to show you that a lot of teams are still kind of like, our fans are like, who are the Washington Capitals? But I took Caltrain down. There were a lot of Capitals fans on the Caltrain. So
that's interesting. Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's
interesting. So there are more fans out there than you realize. It's just that I would say that he's definitely. He's definitely deserved, the accolades he's gotten. I mean, the guy can skate still really fast. He's 39 years old. He's got as much gray hair as you do. Actually, he has more gray hair than you do, actually.
Mitchell and Ness, by the way, I think saying the best possible reply to all this conversation, which is Celebrini, Macklin Celebrini, right? The son, interestingly enough, of
Rick Celebrini. Hey, there's a connection. There's a Warriors connection for you.
For the Warriors, yes. His son was the number 1 pick in the NHL draft, and you see Rick Celebrini a lot at Sharks games because of this, supporting his son as well. So there's the connection there. And so Macklin, Celebrini, and Coffee Noir. Look, Ovechkin 100% is one of the greatest all-time hockey players. All I'm saying is I have no recollection of a single interview he's ever done. I have no, there's no thought that comes to my mind of like a a noteworthy play he's made that sticks out in the legend of sports. It's just of all the guys, he's not exactly like a star, say, if you will. One of the greatest ever. Yeah, I'm not pretending like as an athlete that he's not worthy. I'm just saying he's not a star, and that's it. That's all I'm trying to say.
I'll say this. I think also
who cares? Yeah.
I'll say he is a star, but I know he's not liked because my cousin just came to visit from Montreal, which is why I wasn't on your show on Thursday, because I went with her to cover the Sharks game against Connor Bedard, who's the other previous number 1 draft pick. So it was a battle of number 1 draft picks. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
And anyway, she's a big diehard fan of hockey, and she doesn't want the record being broken because Gretzky is a legend. So I think, again, the way I would agree with this is Ovechkin's a star, but Gretzky is a legend. That's why I think it's unfortunate.
10 years ago, I shot my shot at Paulina Gretzky. I tried. That's all you can do.
Oh, nice.
She's tall, by the way.
That's Janet Jones' mom, right?
Who's? Yeah.
Janet Jones is her mom. Yeah.
And this was before she was single at the time. But again, nice. I shot my shot.
Good for you, man.
I tried. That's all you can do when you have someone, at that level.
What's that old saying? You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Exactly. I had no expectations either. So let's go back to the Warriors here, and let's bring OMG It's Manny on the show. Because he wants to talk Warriors, and we got Ryan Leong joining us live from Chase Center. Yes, that is Chase Center behind Ryan. Manny, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's 12:27 here in Orlando, Florida, but I'm up here as the loyal supporter of the Golden Days and of you, Simon.
Hey, OG, you got no camera, man?
No, listen, I'm about to hit the bed. I got church tomorrow in the morning, and it's past midnight here in Orlando, Florida.
He might be smoking a doobie for all we know.
No, sir. No, sir.
There's a good conversation in the chat about a train wreck and the strain. I still like train wreck, side note. Zal in the chat as well, dropping this interesting comment that since Jimmy Butler has been a part of this team, Steve Kerr has largely abandoned small ball. He's right. Like we haven't seen like a 3-4 guard lineup where it's like Pajemski and GP2 and who are the other guys that we get? Like Dennis Schroeder was getting minutes. And Steph. Like, yeah, you don't want you don't want 3 or 4 of those guys on the court together. So I agree. Ryan, what do you think?
I'm sorry. Repeat the question again real quick.
Have you noticed a diminishing of small ball lineups since Jimmy Butler got here?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, that's a fair assessment. I mean, I again, it's hard to say that. I mean, the Warriors are always constantly playing small ball, it seems, you know? I mean,
there's like different levels to small ball. There's like small ball, which is what the Warriors have been doing for the dynasty, where you're not like diminutive, but you're not playing Karl Anthony Town level players in terms of size.
Yeah,
but what
I would say the Warriors are playing more of a mid-size now game.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of small ball, they're more mid-size.
Well, and if you want to call this small ball, fine, but I don't know what you would call. That's why I kept calling the last 2+ years when we were seeing like 4-guard lineups out there. That was hobbit ball. Like, I don't like the hobbit ball where
I would
the
say
average height of your backcourt 6'2". Like, ditch that shit, please.
I would call this mid-size ball.
Yes, that's fair. Manny, what do you think? What do you call this version versus what we were seeing pre-Jimmy Butler?
I mean, compared to what we used to be watching, this is giant-sized ball. I mean, what was the average before? Compared to that, you know, we're doing much better, which is why I wanted to bring this point about Monday against Denver. We're not playing the same exact hobbit ball lineup that we used to.
Correct.
Now, not just that, on top of that, I believe Aaron Gordon is hurt. He's not there. He's one of the best, I think, perimeter defenders that they got. Michael Porter Jr. has not been playing as well, and they lost Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to the Orlando Magics. So they don't have the exact same Denver Nuggets team that they used to have before. Plus, on top of that, their bench is completely exhausted, which is why I am not afraid of the game that's coming up on Monday, because they don't have the same exact Denver Nuggets team that they have had for the last, 10 years that we haven't beat them or whatever. So, or 9 years, I think someone corrected. So they have a different team. We have a completely different team. We're not just a perimeter 3-point shooter team. We're penetrating in the paint a lot more. We're more physical. We're drawing more fouls. We're going to the line a lot more. That slows down the game a lot more. So, you know, getting physical with Joker, as big as he is, making him move more, making him take more impact if he's going to be guarding at the paint. I think that's definitely a lot of points that are going to be beneficiary for us whenever we go against them on Monday night.
And we're going to talk about that in just a second because Monday nights, it's a heavyweight title fight. It's going to be an incredibly meaningful game to see where the Warriors are facing a team like that. You're right, though, Manny, 100% that the Nuggets this year are diminished compared to teams we've seen previously. And Mike Malone, their head coach, was griping to the front office about that this previous offseason. He was not happy that the team was not spending to bring reinforcements, to bring depth. I don't know what the Aaron Gordon situation is in terms of injury. I'll look that up and we'll discuss that before the end of the show today. But Ryan, what are your thoughts about Monday, man? I mean, this is a big game, dude. Aaron Gordon will likely not play, which does help the Warriors' chances. What I'm seeing from the Nuggets is a lack of depth. Just piggybacking off what Manny said, dude, this is not a team that can bring out, reserves of players. They can't. They don't have the reinforcements like the bench tonight. I'll read this off again. They had 4 players come off the bench. I don't even know who half these guys are, man. Like Zeke Nnaji. I've heard of him. I've seen him play a couple games. Doesn't scare me. Not against the Warriors. Peyton Watson doesn't scare me. I've never heard of these 2 guys of Vlatko Kenkar and Jalen Pickett. Honest to God, I've never even heard of these dudes until tonight. Side note, they scored a combined 0 points, those 2. The entire bench scored a combined 8 points tonight in a home loss to the Wizards. The Warriors should be able to handle that, but Nikola Jokic is a trigger level fear factor for me. Ryan, your thoughts about Monday's night's game against the Nuggets?
You know, as you were mentioning that whole sequence of, I never heard of these guys. You got to play that scene from Major League. Dude. Hey, who are these effing guys? And then you got to say it in Japanese. Or are they saying they suck, right? They suck.
Dude, great call, dude. Yes.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
Of course, it's one of the greatest movies. When it comes to sports, when it comes to comedies, period, but especially sports comedies, it's in the Hall of Fame.
Well, what's real crazy about that movie, and again, I love going on tangents here, is the Indians had been really. I guess I can say this, right? We're on YouTube. They were the really shitty team, and so David Ward, who was the guy who wrote that movie, was like, "I'll never see the Indians do anything. I'm going to write this movie about them winning the pennant." And lo and behold, what was it? 5 years later, right? They became this really good team. They move into Jacobs Field. They become this juggernaut of a team. And in less than a decade, they're in the World Series in 1997. So yeah, it's crazy how that movie turned. And then if you look at some of the characters in real life, right? Willie Mays Hayes, Kenny Lofton, right? And then Pedro Serrano, Albert Bell. I mean, you can see the parallels on a couple of these guys, that they had on the team.
It's such a good movie. But and speaking of which, I want to switch gears for 1 second and make this a lighthearted question. And I'll start with you, Manny, and then Ryan. What is on your Mount Rushmore of sports movies, comedy or otherwise? Manny, I'll start with you. Mount Rushmore meaning 4. What is your 4 best sports movies ever?
Man, I don't watch a lot of movies, to be honest with you, but The Replacements.
Okay.
That's
Rest
a movie.
in peace, Gene Hackman. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely one of the movie. The one with The Rock playing football he's coaching the football team. Or was it? It was The Rock.
It was, and the little girl in it is now like some model. I forgot the name, but yeah, I know the movie you're talking about. Ryan, do you know the name of it? I can't remember what that is.
I don't right now. Yeah, I mean, but now you mentioned it, I do want to check out that movie. So.
All right, continue on, man. You got 2 more.
Oh man, you're making it tough. I mean, I do gotta go with the old school Space Jam with Michael Jordan.
Yes, that's a good one.
I have to. There's one with Queen Latifah where she is a basketball coach. Okay. I forgot the name of that one too. But
Gridiron Gang was the one with The Rock.
Yes, that one, Gridiron Gang. Yep.
Yeah.
And then the other one will be the one with Queen Latifah. It's not that recent, but fairly new compared to the other ones.
Ryan, what's on your Mount Rushmore of sports movies?
All right, so believe it or not, one of my favorites is Happy Gilmore. Love that movie.
Of course.
I actually saw Happy Gilmore in the theater. I must have been one of the few that saw it in the movie theater.
I think I saw it in the theater too. And are you hyped about the sequel? I can't believe there's going to be a sequel.
I am and I'm not, because you've already lost 2 people, right? I mean, I actually got a photo. I have to show it to you sometime. I don't know how we could. So I'll have to tweet it or something, and so we can put it on the podcast next time. I got a photo with Carl Weathers 2 months before he died.
That's cool. At least you met him.
So we'll do it. Yeah. Oh yeah, I met him. So we'll do it for the next show. We can do it for the next show. But yeah, anyway, to answer your question, so I'm a little because Bob Barker passed away. I know Carl Weathers, although he died in the movie anyway, right? But they could have brought him back as a ghost or something, So, but that's a really funny movie. I love that movie.
Of course.
I love the original Rocky, even though people kind of dog the boxing scenes. But come on, that's a great movie. There's so much great dialogue in that movie, and the acting's pretty good too. Even though people try to pick on Stallone, but at the time they made the movie, people were calling Stallone the next Marlon Brando. Crazy enough.
That is crazy. By the way, Rico Lyle saying that the Queen Latifah movie is called Sunset.
No, I don't think that one's it.
Okay.
I'll look it up. I'll message you on Instagram whenever I find it.
All right.
And my last two, Major League, as we were just talking about, and because I had to pick a fourth movie, and I just saw it not too long ago, White Men Can't Jump.
Oh yeah, that's a class. I can't believe they remade that.
I got to tell you a real funny quick story about that. So Wesley Snipes, although he looks very athletic, they tested both guys, okay? And so by the time they were done with all the training and stuff, Woody Harrelson, he's actually good enough to play like as an amateur pro, okay? Wesley Snipes is not. So they did a lot of camera tricks and things like that to make him seem more athletic than he was. But Woody Harrelson,
Wesley Snipes is in 2 of your movies.
That's right. And so in Major League also, he couldn't run very fast. So if you watch, he's always in slow motion.
Good point. I never thought about that. Good point.
And
Charlie Sheen, of course, when he was at the peak of his powers. Manny, any
and
final
taking
thoughts?
some steroids too. He was taking some
steroids. Yeah. Manny, any final thoughts on the Warriors and Monday? They're playing the Nuggets. Just your last thoughts, sir.
Not on that. No one has mentioned one thing that I noticed today. I don't know exactly. I don't know if it was Jimmy or Draymond who threw a lob pass to Kuminga, and he was underneath the basket, very Jimmy-like, and just jumped, grabbed it, and tossed it into and made the shot. Didn't get the foul call, but I noticed that, and if that's the goal for Kuminga to start emulating what Jimmy Butler is doing, he's getting to a good start with that. And then this may not be a very popular take, but right now at this moment, I think that the best 4 players that we have will be Jimmy, Curry, Draymond, and Moody, because Kuminga is still working on getting back. We still need Kuminga to get back. So I think Moody is our 4th best player right now. He's doing amazing in both defense, offense. He's making that corner shot very frequently, and that's helping so much, especially with the driving and kick. So we definitely need Kuminga to get going, get more acclimated to the new system, because it's definitely a new system with Jimmy Butler in it.
Yes,
but
sir.
definitely, I'm really excited to see that 5-man lineup get more time before the playoffs, because I know we're going to need it a lot in there.
Wholeheartedly agree. I want to play this clip for you folks real fast here. This is from a couple of weeks ago, but this was Steve Kerr talking about Jimmy Butler and his influence on Jonathan Kuminga and what he hopes to see from their relationship. So here is Steve Kerr again talking about Kuminga and Butler.
His film, but also showing some of Jimmy's stuff, what Jimmy's doing right now, because I think he's a perfect guy for JK to emulate. What makes Jimmy special is that he doesn't try to be special. He just plays fundamental basketball. And, the constant fundamental play, he never turns it over. He just makes a simple play over and over again. And I want JK to learn some of that. He's so explosive. I think it's always hardest for guys who are the most talented to make decisions, because they've got too many options at their disposal. So I'm hoping that he can learn from Jimmy, and that Jimmy will spend some time with him. As I mentioned, JK, before he got hurt, was the best I've ever seen him play. So he was already on a really good track, and it's just a reminder to, these are kind of the things we want.
And we're getting there. We're getting there. We've now had 2 games with Kuminga back. Not as much scoring tonight as the first game. 18 points, then 10 tonight. But a complete game where, first of all, the Knicks defensively are awesome. They have size. But Kuminga, where he had 10 points tonight versus 18 the last game, did have 5 assists and 5 rebounds. So a complete game for him. Nothing to blow you away, but I thought it was a good game. Manny, any final thoughts?
Yeah, on the movie with Queen Latifah is Just Right, where she's a physical therapist. They have Jalen Rose, Dwayne Wade,
there you go,
Dwight Howard, who I guess believe it or not, getting inducted into the Orlando Magic Hall of Fame. And then Kenny the Jet Smiths. But yeah, that's a movie. Other than that, man, great win tonight. Great
was.
job, Cy, today
Thank you, brother.
with your show. I know it's been like an hour and 40 minutes, but it doesn't seem that way.
It flies,
Thank you,
dude. I know.
Ryan, for joining.
You know what's funny, Manny? Sorry to interrupt, but like, some people advise me, they're like, well, if you want your show to grow faster on YouTube, like you should make them shorter. But I'm not, I hope I'm not filling these programs with fluff. I'm cognizant of the clock and I don't want these things to go long, but I feel like there's just so much to cover, and
dude, it's good
never
content.
feels like these are long, so
It's good content, and the fact that you actually bring people on draws a lot of attention and audience. And if you're really thinking about doing the whole playback thing or looking into it, I will tell you right now that that's going to be a way longer show, because you got to start from before the game, go through the game,
I don't know if I'm gonna do
halftime,
that.
finish the game, and then maybe add a little bit after. You're not going to be able to bring people on. If not, you're going to be behind the camera for what, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do the play. I mean, it was a good suggestion. I'm always listening, man. I try to be an open-minded individual in this crazy world, but and not to mention, I'm sure there are people who already have an established audience on playback, so I'd have to be competing with a whole other. Yeah, I like this lane, man. We'll see what happens. Manny, thank you so much, brother. I can't thank you enough for you're always here, supportive. You bring positive energy. You just seem like a good dude, Manny. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. Hey, God bless you guys, and you guys have a great night, man.
You too, man.
Have a
Coming
good night,
to us live from Florida. Ryan, I had Ramona Shelburne on the program yesterday, and she was phenomenal.
Oh, wow, cool.
I respect her work tremendously. And she said something interesting, which I want to post to you and bring up to the audience as well, where she talked about a concept of spacing that I haven't heard anyone else mention recently, which is vertical spacing. Everyone talks about the Warriors and how much they thrive off traditional spacing, meaning players having room around them to not have a crowded defensive presence and getting easier looks. But then there's vertical spacing, and Ramona Shelburne brought that aspect up in terms of what Jimmy Butler has opened up for the Warriors, whether it's passes for lobs and Kuminga as well. And that's where size is important, the easy buckets that you get with vertical spacing. Ryan, what's your thoughts on that concept and the fact that the Warriors really struggled in that department before, and now they seem to be thriving? Your thoughts?
Well, I think they're thriving again just because Jimmy Butler is another variable that the Warriors didn't have, and through him, he's able to facilitate so much offense. And Steph is free to do what he wants again. I mean, Steph is back to being Steph because he does need that complementary player. I mean, everybody does, right? Michael Jordan needed Scottie Pippen.
Of course, everybody needs
a complementary player. You got to have another player, even though Jimmy Butler had a pretty bad game shooting-wise tonight, but whatever. I mean, what are the Warriors now? Are they like, what, 13-2 now since they got him?
14-1, if my math is correct.
Oh, that's right, because the other game he didn't play.
And here's another stat that I've been hyping up tonight, but I don't know if I mentioned it since you came on. With Moses Moody starting, if the stat is correct, and I believe it is, intern Megan originally did it a couple nights ago, the Warriors are 18-1 when Moses Moody starts. Is that as crazy to you as it is to me? Like, I can't get enough of that stat. Sorry if I'm busting.
No. Come on. Anytime you're
that's
almost
crazy,
perfect,
right?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, you don't want to deviate from that. So obviously, unless Kerr is really stupid, which he's not.
I've never said that. Yeah, I don't think he's stupid.
Well, you know,
stubborn at times.
Right? But you can't ignore that great of a stat. What is the math on that anyway? What's the percentage on that? 99% or so, 98%? What is that?
Well, an 18-1 record. So
yeah.
I think you divide 18 by 19 to come up with that percentage.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Well, let's find out. Hang on. Let's see, because my math sucked. Even though I'm Asian, doesn't mean nothing.
Well, that's not an easy one to do in your head. 18 divided by 19.
95%, 94.947.
So that's what they're winning with Moses Moody.
They have a almost 95% basically.
Incredible. That's absolutely absurd. By the way, a lot of movie references in the chat. I want to play all of these real quickly. We'll get through them just because I'm a huge film buff and good movies I don't think you can ever get enough of. Adrian Gutierrez saying Major League and The Natural. The Natural is another fantastic sports movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm at a point in life, Ryan, where I feel like I love baseball movies more than actual baseball.
Oh, no question. Well, you know what? It's not just that. It's also just the older games. If you want to go on YouTube and watch some old Giants games from like the 90s and 80s and listen to baseball games on a radio from even before then, It's just amazing. In fact,
Yeah.
if you want to watch, I mean, I don't know how much of a Giants fan you are. That famous Bobby Thompson home run. Now, not the Russ Hodges, but the Gordon McClendon call, which was the Liberty Network, I think. He called the national game, and he's got some pretty famous calls too. That game in its entirety is on YouTube.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's some good knowledge.
And he
right
says,
there.
real quickly, he says in his broadcast, he says 20 years from now they'll be talking about this game, and he's saying this during the actual game.
Yeah, well, they're talking about it 80 years later. I mean, shit, it's still going strong.
Yep.
By the way, a Black Castle bringing up Gridiron Gang. I think we talked about that a moment ago. Julian Bashir, Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino as the head coach.
You know what I hate about that movie? That really pissed me off. You would appreciate this because we're sports guys. You know how you do a score bug visitor over home? Well, unless this is soccer, they kept putting the home team at the top. Yeah, they reversed it, and I'm like, dude, this is not soccer. Now, soccer,
I feel you on that.
Okay?
I feel you on that. That's a little thing that would bug the shit out of me too.
The reason you couldn't get that right, I was like, your film has no credibility. Sorry, you got to get that. You got to get something like that correct.
I wholeheartedly.
That was the first thing I noticed. I went off on that. I was like, that's wrong.
Oliver Stone, you dropped the ball big time there,
man.
That's an egregious miss. Yeah, big time. I agree. Boris Schusterman bringing up Blue Chips with Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. That was like one of Nick Nolte's last starring roles. And the topic is interesting because back then, this was pre-NIL days. So when people were going to jail and being heavily punished for paying players, which is, side note, totally insane. Simon the Two bringing up Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson. I don't know what Sunset is. I don't know what movie that is. Tin Cup is a great film, I think.
That's pretty good. I just remember that scene in Tin Cup where he's trying to make that one shot and he hits this ball down the road.
Exactly. He just tries over and over and Celtic Pride. That was with the guy from the Home Alone movies. I forgot his name. What is that guy's name? Anyways, I never saw that movie. Did you? Damon Wayans, I think, is in it too.
Okay, it must be Daniel Stern, right? Talking about Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern, thank you. Yes. Remember the Titans? Great film. Mr. Baseball with Tom Selleck.
That movie I saw. I didn't see Mr. Baseball. I liked it. It was all right. It was cool because it showed the Japanese baseball.
Rocky, I know you mentioned that with the next Marlon Brando. A great film, The Sandlot by Strictly Christo. Good call on that one. That's a fantastic film. Oberyn bringing up a lot of films. Space Jam, I think Manny mentioned that, or did you, Ryan?
Manny mentioned it. I saw it. It was all right. I mean, I'll never forget. I bought some of the tie-in toys that McDonald's was selling. Just kind of cool back in the day. It's like almost 30 years ago.
Good old Happy Meals. Miracle on Ice. Oberyn brings up as well.
Miracle. The Miracle movie. I saw it.
That's a good movie.
Another quick thing about details. I don't know why, but if you watch Miracle, they got the parting of his hair wrong. Okay. Herb Brooks' hair is supposed to go the opposite direction.
Okay, that one I can live with, but
I know, but still, I'm like, come on, how can you get that wrong? I mean, shit.
I don't know. I can live with that one, but the scoreboard thing is
okay.
Let's see. The Rookie.
Great one. That's a good movie too. Yeah, the one with Dennis Quaid playing Jim Morris.
Abraham De Leon brings up Semi-Pro, which is in my Mount Rushmore of sports comedies. Let me know what you think about my Mount Rushmore of sports comedies real fast. Major League, Semi-Pro, where what's his name?
Jackie Moon, or
the guy from White Man Can't Jump. I'm having a senior moment here in terms of remembering his name. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson was in White Man Can't Jump and then was in Semi-Pro. So he's actually done 2 basketball movies there. This next movie, grossly underrated, but it's on my Mount Rushmore, and that's Kingpin, bowling film. But you're really watching it again for Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray. Just a fantastic film. And then my last one, R.A. Caddyshack. That has to be on there as well. And there's a lot of great runners-up. Let me see if there's any other movies that has been mentioned. Julian Bashir bringing up Talladega Nights, which is on TV, I feel like, every day. B. Slot saying Mighty Ducks. Adrian Gutierrez, Days of Thunder. Leo Giancarlo bringing up Hustle. That's the one with Adam Sandler, right?
I did see that. That was a good movie. Yeah, that was actually a good movie.
Yeah, agreed. The Queen Latifah movie, G is saying it was called The Right Way or something like that. It's called Just Right. I never saw that film. Ken Mamba brings up The Heir Up There. This one with Kevin Bacon, I think, right? Let me see if there's anything else here for movies. I just want to Above the Rim. Adrian Gutierrez. Wildcats, another underrated one. Another Woody Harrelson one. That's where Goldie Hawn plays the football coach. Strictly Christo says Bull Durham. Boris Schusterman, The Longest Yard. I didn't think the new one was as
the original
good as
one
the
with Burt Reynolds has got to be the one you want to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly. Even though it's super old, I agree. Oberon brings up Space Jam 2 should have been Stephen Curry. Agreed. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I think that's it. I don't see any other movie references, at least original ones. I'm saying The Fan, Django. The Fan was an awful movie. I don't know how they made
that.
Like,
that was a really bad movie.
Again, Wesley Snipes plays Barry Bonds,
and Robert De Niro, which is probably one of his more forgettable roles.
And in one of the most unbelievable final scenes where it's like pouring rain, it's like, dude, they call the game. They're not.
You don't play. No, this is not football. You don't. Yeah, you can play. You can play football in pouring rain. You don't play baseball. You can't grip the ball.
And they're just playing on in this like torrential storm.
Yeah, you can't do that. That doesn't happen.
Friday Night Lights, great call on that. Whether it's the Billy Bob Thornton movie or it's the Chandler guy and the series, both great. I strong recommend there. Let's see if there's any other movies real fast. Varsity Blues. That's a winner. I like that one too. Ken Mamba with an actual question pertaining to the Warriors.
Who do you think you'll get less minutes when Pods returns? I would say, let me look at the box score real quick here. I mean, guys that are already not getting that many minutes, right? Maybe Buddy Hield.
Well, it's a great question. It's going to be a challenge. This is where Steve Kerr is going to be earning his money. Kevon Looney tonight, for example, played 6 minutes, 18 seconds. And by the way, he scored 2 points. I don't know, Brian, if you remember the 2 points. It was I don't know how he got the ball into the bucket, but he did. It was an awesome play.
Was that late in the game? When did he score the points?
He was in the paint, and he had like 4 guys defending him, and he somehow still got the ball.
But
like he muscled his way through them and got the ball into the bucket. It was beautiful. It was like a vintage Kevon Looney,
right?
I'm going to out-muscle you in the paint kind of move. It was phenomenal.
Right. But my question is, when in the game did that happen, though?
It was in the second half. I don't remember when.
I didn't see it. I guess.
But that's only 6 minutes. You know what? I don't know. We'll find out. I would think Buddy Hield would be the sacrificial lamb.
That's what I think.
Tonight, for example, 3 points total. He had 7 field goal attempts. All 7 were from beyond the arc, and he only made 1. So he was 1 of 7 from deep. Like this game would not be close if he had just made 2 or 3 more of those. But those breaks hurt. So I don't know. We'll find out. It's going to be interesting. By the way, OMG, it's Manny dropping $4.99 saying that if the Warriors make the playoffs, you're going to donate $100. Thank you. Thanks, man. Strictly Christo is saying the Warriors are 18-1 with Moody. Again, I can't hear it enough. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely a remarkable stat. I'm not tired of it. So there we go. Ryan, I'm going to get to the scoreboard now. If you want to bail, I totally understand. If you want to stay with me, I would love it. But you're.
Tell you what, I'll bail tonight. I'll stick around for Monday. How's that?
All right, sounds good. But before you go, any final thoughts, brother? Anything else that you feel like we did not cover, or anything that you want to bring up pertaining to this game tonight? A win for the Warriors, 97-94, the final.
Well, the Warriors won despite not scoring 100 points. As you alluded to, the Knicks have a very good defense. Yes. And they kept saying that in the post-game locker room, that they were happy that they held the Warriors to under 100 points. But they weren't happy by the fact that they lost, and the Knicks finished their road trip at 2-3. And had they won this game, that's a big deal, right? Because if you win, they have a winning road trip, and they would have won 3 in a row, as opposed to losing on a sour note on this road trip. But having to play most of this road trip without Jalen Brunson, who's obviously he is their key player. I mean, he's driving the engine for the Knicks right now. So it was cool though. I wasn't there to see Curry set the record last game, but I witnessed him getting his 25,000th point. I saw Kerr tonight, get the all-time coach record for the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors are back to being honestly the Warriors that people, the Warrior fans remember, right? And the rest of the league doesn't want to see. But it is what it is, and everybody's getting asked that now about what makes the Warriors so good now, because I think the Warriors are back to being the Warriors that people want to see.
Agreed. Yes.
And that's my real big takeaway is that when I first started doing the podcast with you, this team was like, man, this team was really hitting the skids, and now all of a sudden you look at their record and they are now 39-28. So they are, what is that? Is that 9 games over 500? Is that right?
The Warriors are
11 games
now
over 500.
11 games over 500.
Yeah, that's how good my math is. 11 games over 500. I mean, it's amazing. They're playing so much better now. I mean, it's just, I didn't think Butler was going to make the difference he has, but he has, and he's been such a breath of fresh air. He loves picking on his teammates. You saw that video the other night, right, where he was picking on Buddy Hield?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. He starts giving people crap left and right. It's so much fun. I mean, I think he's understanding now what a fun team the Warriors are to play on, which is why it's so interesting. I'll never forget when Curry was coming into his own, and Monte Ellis kept complaining that he couldn't play with Steph. Of course, that's when Steph was a rookie just coming into the league, right? But I think it's true. I mean, the only way you could ever get kicked out of this team is if Curry doesn't like you, and that's hard to do. I'm sure that somebody doesn't like Steph Curry, but I can't picture it. I mean, the guy is just so beloved by so many. I mean, Warrior broadcast. I don't go on the road other than going to Sacramento, but I tell you, a lot of times I hear Tim Roy and Tom Tolbert on occasion mention how great the Warrior fans are on the road, and they get a certain just the vibe they get. Not that Chase Center is bad, but I think in a lot of places the Warriors are actually getting more attention when they are away from home.
It's insane. It's one of the many reasons why I look at Steph as the Jordan successor or the Kobe Bryant successor, where like he's got that star power, man. Where anywhere he goes, he draws the crowds. It's insane. It's incredible.
But it's interesting, like what was mentioned earlier about the Space Jam too. He does have the star power, but he still doesn't quite like if he had a poster of NBA stars, would he make that poster necessarily? I guess he would, but how big would he be on that poster? You see what I'm saying?
I don't. By the way, MJ in the chat, going back to the Kevon Looney's his lone bucket, bringing up that Looney had like 13 pump fakes before he finally went, and he did. He kept doing this, and it was awesome. It was one of the great. It was for a 2-point night. It was a beautiful bucket. But going back to what you're saying about the Warriors, yeah, dude, they're back. They're must-watch TV again. Like there was a moment where like this felt like a job. Like before the Jimmy Butler trade, this felt like work. Like watching the games, it was not fun to watch that product, dude. And
I remember. You remember how far back I go? I remember when the Warriors just absolutely sucked with a capital S. I mean, they were just so bad. In fact, he's not here anymore. But Henrik Mung used to be the Warriors producer before R.C. Davis, and I used to sit on press row with some colleagues, including I guess I'll mention Joe Salvatore. We would just sit there and we'd have a laugh fest. Because we see the Warriors make so many mistakes play after play and just laugh our butts off because they suck so badly that you went to the Warrior game for like comic relief. It was like watching the Keystone Cops. And the Warriors have changed so much that even in this stretch before they got Butler where they struggled, it was never that bad, right? The Warriors were just playing mediocre basketball, which is probably even worse, right? When you're just playing average basketball, when you don't even suck badly, you're just kind of there. That's where the Warriors were, right? They were just there.
Yeah. And now they're contenders. Friend.
And hopefully you're going to come back and come to another game, man. You should come back.
I will. We'll make that happen soon. Kev F. at Golden Dazer, by the way, bringing up. Did you see Doris Burke tonight?
I did not. I was too busy. She's way down there on the floor. In fact, I can sort of point here, give you an idea where I am compared to where they are. So let me see my finger. So if you see where I'm pointing right now, that's where they are in that part of the center court. So
there you go.
Yeah, she's down there in the in the high rent district, and I'm up here. I'm not up on the roof. Obviously.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Bob Fitzgerald and Kalena Izubuki have the same seats as you do. So
not quite. They're over. So they're over there. So let's give a tour here real quick.
Same level. They're in the same.
You see here. You see that little gray this gray area right here. That's where Kalena. That's where all the broadcasters sit.
Same altitude, brother. Same altitude as you.
They're a little lower, but you're right. The point being that nobody's on the floor anymore except for the main TV.
In San Francisco, but you go to some other arenas and they do still get the love.
If they don't get the first row, they get the second row, right? So like in Sacramento, for instance, the broadcasters there are I think right behind the stats crew. So, but
Lacob and Goober, it's funny. They saw where Fitz and Kalena were sitting, and they were like, "You two are stealing $250,000 from us just where you're sitting."
Well, yeah, I mean, they did the same. Here's what they did. So before they left Oracle, so Tim Roy used to be on the floor too. And
right.
Him.
Yeah. Well, radio.
So they moved him. They moved TV. I'm sorry, TV. They moved radio for both up to the main area of the back of the main concourse, and they kept TV on the floor. And now, as I mentioned, everybody's off the floor unless you're ESPN or ABC or TNT. That's it. So hey, that's kind of cool, right? If nobody's been here, there's your little tour, right? So you can see. And again, like I'm actually here. This is not a backdrop. So the corner one's right there. We see the lettering. That's where. So Warriors radio and Warriors TV are right next to each other. Then it's the visiting TV, and then the final booth in the corner here, the closest one there, where my finger is a visiting radio, and the stats crew is in there too.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And before we go, Ryan, I felt like the Warriors crowd tonight was the loudest, most engaged this season. Like, I haven't heard a Warriors chant like that since I don't know when. I really don't know when, man. It's been a while. Did you feel it? Were you feeling the crowd tonight?
I was. I don't know if I'd still say it was the loudest, but it was. You know what? It never hurts though when you have a marquee team like the Knicks in town. Anytime you play a big market team, I mean, anytime you play a New York team, let's be honest, you're gonna get the crowd. So yeah, I would say so. I would say it's definitely one of the loudest crowds this year for sure.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it was as loud. All I'm saying is this season, I haven't heard the crowd a lot, and tonight we were hearing the Warriors chants like. They were engaged. They were in it. I'm not saying overall in the history or anything, but tonight
I know what you mean. I got you.
Tonight they're loud. All right, brother. Thank you as always, man. Sure. People can follow you on Twitter at Ryan Leong. Super easy. It's just your name. You work for Bay Area Sports Rap, NBC News Radio, among many organizations. Tell Joe Salvatore say hello, by the way. Him and I used to work together at KCBS. Is he working right now? Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he's doing some. I mean, as far as I understand, I've kind of lost touch with him, but he does traffic reports. So he's working with Metro, which is part of the company that NBC News Radio.
So Metro's still around after all these years.
Still around. They're actually owned by I guess it's Clear Channel. Yeah, but they're iHeart Radio. So yeah, he's still around. Yep. So,
interesting. Well, say hello for me, and thanks, brother. Thanks as always, and we'll see you Monday night, dude. Warriors Nuggets.
Are you still
St. Patty's Day
scoreboard, right? I'll wear green, by the way. You're still gonna do a scoreboard, right?
Yes.
So I'll see you then. I'll wear some green on Monday.
Sounds good. We'll see you Monday, brother. Thank you.
All right.
That is Ryan Leong again of Bay Area Sports Rap of NBC News Radio. He joins us following Warriors action when the team is at home. Can't thank him enough for joining us from Chase Center. And it is time to play the tunes. We're in the club. It's Saturday night. Adds a little oomph to it, at least for me. And let's see what happened in the NBA tonight. I don't think it was a super busy docket. Could be mistaken on that. Let's see how many games were played in the association. 8 games total. So we got 7 scores for you. And then we're going to wrap it up with the standings to see where the Warriors are. What I can tell you right now with the standings, the Lakers are in huge trouble. I think it is a safe bet that the Warriors will surpass the Lakers by the time the season's over. And 4-5, maybe even 3 is very attainable, like very reachable. I'm not exaggerating saying that. So, elsewhere in the association tonight. We mentioned this before. We'll mention it again because they're the next Warriors opponent. And I'm still in shock over the fact that the Denver Nuggets lost at home to the Washington Wizards, a team that since they traded for Marcus Smart are looking a little competent. A team that with Alex Sarr, who was the number 2 pick in the draft last year, he's going to be something. I really like that guy. He had 34 points tonight, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. But I don't care who's on the Wizards. You lose at home to the Wizards, the respect level that at least I'm going to have for you is going to diminish considerably. And the Nuggets lost at home to the Washington Wizards, 126-123 the final. Someone else, I forgot who it was, mentioned that Jordan Poole hit a game winner to seal it for Washington. So that is the next Warriors opponent. Denver is coming into town Monday night. Nikola Jokic, 40 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists in the loss. The Nuggets dropped to 43-25. Washington improves to 15-51. Yeah, that's right. The San Antonio Spurs, 119-115 winners tonight over the New Orleans Pelicans. Keldon Johnson, 19 points, 3 steals in the win for the Spurs, who improved to 28-38. The New Orleans Pelicans dropping to 18-50 after losing tonight. CJ McCollum, 26.7 rebounds, 9 assists. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my zoom here, so I'm having a hard time seeing what's on my screen. All right, we continue on. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Indiana Pacers tonight, 126-119. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists in the win. Tyrese Halliburton, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 15 assists in the loss. Milwaukee improves to 38-28. The Pacers drop to 37-29. 4 more games. This one sucks. The Memphis Grizzlies winners tonight over the flailing Miami Heat. Memphis won 125-91. The Grizzlies improved to 43-25. Same record as the Nuggets, I believe. And the Heat dropped to 29-38. Andrew Wiggins in the game played 22 minutes, had 8 points. I still see people like out there who say they miss him. Why? I like. Do you see Miami winning games because of it? No. And I am seeing a lot of games like tonight. 8 points, no rebounds, 0 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, and a minus 20 in net rating. He was 1 of 5 shooting from 3. Ooh, 8 points for Andrew Wiggins. Strictly Christo in the chat saying that the headline on ESPN's front page is Draymond Green saying night night. He was doing that. There was still some time on the clock when he did. I guess that's not really anything noteworthy, but it was just the rivalry tonight between him and Karl Anthony Towns. That made for some entertaining basketball, folks. No doubt about that. But unfortunately, the Memphis Grizzlies won tonight, so the Warriors don't gain ground there. Another team that frustratingly won, the Houston Rockets, 117-114 winners tonight over the Chicago Bulls at home. The Rockets improved to 43-25. Chicago drops to 28-39. Alperen Şengün, 24 points, 15 rebounds on the win. Tyus Jones, 19 points, 6 assists in the loss for the Bulls. Tyus Jones, is that right? Trey Jones, I apologize, with 19 points and 6 assists. OKC 113-107 winners tonight over the Detroit what? Pistons 113-107 again. OKC improving to 55-12. Detroit dropping to 37-31. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 48 points, 6 assists, 3 steals in the win. Dennis Schroeder listed by ESPN as a top performer for the Pistons tonight, 17 points, 11 assists. I'm getting really tired of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's flopping, though. It's absurd. I feel like they're like the infamous Twitter account NBA Centel posted a clip of him flopping yet again tonight. It's absurd, man. Don't be another James Harden. Do not be Trae Young. Earn your points legitimately, dude. Not that gimmicky bullshit with your head flops and your flailing and absurd. You will certainly not get respect from me doing that shit. That ain't basketball. Anything that you cannot pull off on the playground, you should not be able to pull off in an NBA game. Like, everything he does would never fly on a playground. People would laugh and scoff and ridicule that pathetic bullshit. Just stop flopping, man. It denigrates the game. I hate it. And last but not least, the Boston Celtics 115-113 winners tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. Boston improving to 49-19. Brooklyn dropping to 23-45. Peyton Pritchard, 22 points, 6 rebounds in the win. Cam Johnson, 23 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists in the loss. And that leads now to the standings. And show my screen so we could all enjoy this together. So the Warriors, obviously, nothing's changed in terms of the standings, but when they win and other teams don't play, the Warriors are still gaining a half game just by winning. So, and here's some fantastic news. It wasn't that long ago that the Warriors were trying to get out of the play-in situation and get into the top 6 where you're guaranteed a playoff spot. The Warriors are the 6th seed right now. They've won 7 in a row. The Minnesota Timberwolves have also won 7 in a row. The Warriors own the tiebreak, thankfully, over Minnesota. But more importantly, the Warriors gained on the LA Lakers. So Golden State is 39-28 right now. Minnesota is 39-29. We'll start from below. The LA Clippers are 37-30. They're 2 games back of the Golden State Warriors. Sacramento Kings are 33-33. They are 5.5 games back of the Warriors. So the 9 seed is a good, safe distance away to no longer really worry about that. The Dallas Mavericks, side note, I don't know if you heard this today. I also posted this on social media. They might forfeit a game this year. And they're looking at March 24th, I believe, as the date for that. Let me see what their schedule is real fast, just to confirm that, which is remarkable because on March 24th, they play at Brooklyn. And the reason why March 24th is the date that we're circling is because a bunch of their two-way players, their eligibility is going to expire. Two-way players can only play 50 games in a season. Sorry, I'm just looking at the chat for the first time in a little while. And Rafael Luna, yeah, I'll show your comment because it's that funny. I won't articulate it though, but yeah, I'm so relieved that Andrew Wiggins is not on this team anymore. Oh my God, that was miserable, and so many of you just wanted him to stay. I never understood that. Anyways, funny stuff, Rafael. So going back to the standings, and for a split second here, we're talking about the Mavericks. Excuse me, because on March 24th. Because of all the injuries that they've suffered, and because their two-way players are reaching their eligibility maximums of 50 games, and because they've gone past the date where they can swap out the two-way players for other two-way players, they can't do that anymore. So on March 24th, there is a very distinct possibility that the Dallas Mavericks will not be able to play 7 players, which I believe is the minimum. I can't remember if it's 7 or 8, but I think 7 is the minimum for an NBA team. You have to have 7 people in uniform ready to go. Otherwise, you forfeit. MJ's asking, like, has that ever happened before? Not to my knowledge. I mean, I mean, if someone wants to Google that real fast, let me know. It could. I don't know. I think it might be the first time ever. I'm actually going to Google it myself real fast. Okay, so NBA rules require an NBA team to dress at least 8 healthy players, which makes it even worse for Dallas. I mean, at least from my research, no, there is no history of that. And, but I'm not stating that as a fact because I don't know for certain, but I have no memory of there ever being a forfeiture. I've never heard of it. At least from an initial search while I'm hosting a live show, take that for what you will. I couldn't see any history of NBA forfeitures yet. It seems like the only way the Mavericks are going to be able to avoid this really bleak situation, a forfeiture. And Bobby Marks actually, he uploaded a video onto his Twitter account, and I think it's on YouTube as well. And he did this recording from a hotel room. He looks like half awake, and he did this recording largely because of how newsworthy this story is. And he laid down all the scenarios, and it seems like the only way the Mavericks can avoid forfeiting a game on March 24th. And they're not going to be able to add any players to 10-way deals until I think early April, because they're only about $50,000 below the first apron and they're hard capped. And this is how serious the hard cap is, that you can't go over it no matter what, even in a situation like this. So my understanding is the only way they're going to be able to avoid it is to suit up injured players, knowing they're not going to play. But then that raises a whole other plethora of issues, including if they're injured, you're not legally supposed to play them. I mean, the rules are pretty straightforward about that, where if a player is listed on an injury report, that's supposed to reflect reality. So I don't know what they're going to do. And Abraham DeLeon bringing up Klay Thompson because he's there. It's insane. It is lunacy. Anyways, I thought that was fascinating. So going back to the standings here, Dallas is currently the 10 seed, but the Phoenix Suns are creeping up behind them. So Dallas at 33 and 35, Phoenix at 31 and 36, a game and a half behind the Dallas Mavericks. My strong guess is Phoenix will overcome the Mavericks and finish as the 10th seed in the West. And then you'll have Sacramento and Phoenix playing in the play-in. The loser of that game eliminated altogether. The winner of that game, if the season ended today, would play the loser of Minnesota and the Clippers. The winner of that game would be the 7th seed. The winner of the Minnesota Clippers loser versus the Kings Suns winner would get the 8th seed, if any of that made sense. So the Warriors are currently 6. And when you look above, they trail the LA Lakers by just 2 games. Just 2. LA has the most difficult remaining schedule in the NBA. The Lakers have lost 4 in a row. So as of right now, it's looking really good for the Golden State Warriors in terms of leapfrogging the Lakers and getting at least the 5 seed. The Memphis Grizzlies are currently the 4 seed with a 43 and 25 record. They are a game and a half ahead of the Lakers, 3.5 ahead of the Warriors. And then the Nuggets and the Rockets, all 3 of those teams, Houston, Denver, and Memphis, they are all tied with 43 and 25 records. The Warriors are 3 games behind all 3 of them in the loss column. Technically, they're 3.5 games back because they played 1 less game. So when you're looking at the standings, I think that ultimately what the message here is this. The Warriors can easily, I use the word easily, I mean this. The Golden State Warriors can easily get the 2 seed. I'm not joking when I say that. And MJ, you're absolutely right. If it ends up being a 4-5 matchup against the Grizzlies, against the Rockets, me personally, I'd like to avoid LA in the first round. Bob Fitzgerald, the play-by-play voice of the Golden State Warriors on TV, made a very astute point the other day on, I think in a radio interview, when he said that he does not want to see the Lakers in the first round because of the officiating. His fear is you're facing a Lakers team that has not one, but 2 free throw merchants in LeBron James and Luka Doncic. 2 players who are gimmick masters, flopping aficionados. Those dudes convince refs to blow the whistle on every damn little thing. And he doesn't want the Warriors to face that. I don't blame him. He's right. Yeah, B do have 2012 is asking me, why am I saying that the Warriors can easily get the 2 seed? Because they're 3 games back of the 2 seed. That's why. And the team the team who is currently the 2 seed right now are the Houston Rockets, a team that the Golden State Warriors have the tiebreak over, and who have the clear mental advantage over. I mean, it's so that's why I say that. The 3 seed right now, the Denver Nuggets. We're about to find out what that's all about on Monday. Matt on. Then the Memphis Grizzlies are the 4 seed, the Lakers are the 5 seed, and the Golden State Warriors are the 6 seed. That's your top 6. And again, the Warriors are literally 3 games back of the 2 seed in the loss column. And B do have 2012 adding that the Warriors have to jump 4 teams to do that. Well, 2 months ago, I don't know, it might even be just 6 weeks ago, the Warriors were 11th. So they've already leapfrogged 5 teams to get to 6. It's not in the realm of impossibility. And the Warriors have a very easy schedule for the rest of the year. I think they have the 3rd easiest schedule in the Western Conference. In the overall NBA, correct me if I'm wrong on this, anyone in the chat, but at least a week or so ago when I saw this, I think they had the 8th easiest schedule in the NBA, 3rd easiest schedule in the West. So, and Julian Bashir brings up a great point that the Warriors have 2 games remaining against Denver. They still play the Rockets one more time. They play the Grizzlies one more time. They play the Lakers one more time. So you win those games and you're gaining ground very easily. And these teams are playing a lot of difficult matchups, oftentimes against each other. Yeah, and Rafael Luna and Abraham De Leon both bringing up Minnesota right behind the Warriors. Yeah, they're fast on the tail. What my guess is when all this shakes out is the Lakers will be a play-in team, because their strength of schedule is very difficult, and I don't know when LeBron's coming back. So you're looking at a scenario where the Lakers will probably drop out of the top 6. Memphis is so unpredictable. I have no idea what to expect from them. But look, if again, this is just an opinion. So if you disagree, I'm not going to sit here and fight you about that. But you look at the Memphis Grizzlies and you look at the Houston Rockets, and from my perspective, it is a safe thing to say that the Warriors are better, that the Nuggets are better, that the Thunder are better. There is a class system in place in the Western Conference, is what I'm trying to say. And in the first class, you have OKC, you have the Nuggets, you have the Warriors, and you may have the Lakers. And then you might have Minnesota as well, just because Anthony Edwards is that damn good. And with Julius Randle back, for whatever reason, it's starting to work now. And then in that second class is where Houston, Memphis, maybe the Clippers. It'll be interesting. Bruce Morrow saying that LeBron was moving well at his son's game. I know I saw that too, which is it's ridiculous. I mean, the guy claims he has a groin injury. He's out. He does this a lot of the time in March. Some accusing him of intentionally resting for the postseason. I did see that clip though too as well, where he was jumping up and down. That's it. Have a great Saturday night. Great win for the Golden State Warriors. Again, final score 97-94. Key takeaway from this game. The Warriors were in a situation where this was how the playoffs are going to go. Playoff games are like this. Defensive slogs, where every possession counts. And this had the feel of that. And the Warriors passed. It was a good test, but Monday's the big one. St. Patty's Day. Nuggles. Warriors. Chase Center. Sign me up. And as Patrick Singh says best to wrap up tonight's show, night, night, baby. Thanks, everyone. See you soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It's Saturday. Have fun out there. Boom.